I've been saying for a couple of years now, ever since I started with Davinci Resolve, I am not a Fusion guy. Fusion scares me. I'm not a very good compositor, but I want to be, and I want to get further into VFX, and part of that is learning how to composite using Fusion. So we're going to do a lot of that in this episode of Scenes. Stick around. So I was browsing Action VFX's website. It's my favorite place to get stock visual effects when I do use them on occasion. And I came across a free portals effects pack. And on top of that, along with the portal effect, you actually get an alpha matte. So you can actually put things inside the portals, which is actually really cool. And it gave me an idea for a video that I wanted to make. And I thought I could turn it into a little short. On top of using Fusion to create this portal effect and composite the shots that I need to composite, I wanted to add a few other challenges in there, one for the editing and one for the filming. For the editing, I decided I was going to make this entire short dialogue, well, not totally dialogue free. We were going to have only one piece of dialogue, and that dialogue wasn't even going to be mine. The one line in the video, I didn't even speak. For filming, I decided I was going to stick with only one focal length, and I decided on 35mm because on my camera, that's about a 50mm full frame equivalent. I thought that was a good place to start.
All right, here's the camera rig for today. We've got the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K with the battery grip on it, all charged up and ready to go. We've got the Canon EFS 17-55 f2.8 lens, and then we have the Small Rig Mini Matte Box, the Feel World 4K monitor, and the D80S Mic 2S with a dead cat on it, all sitting on top of a Manfrotto fluid head on top of my tripod. So this is it. This and lighting should be all that I need.
I haven't really been using my Pocket 6K recently. It was nice to get back into like a fully rigged out camera instead of the little vlog style cameras that I've been tinkering around with over the past couple months. The shot list for this video was fairly straightforward, but it did pose one big problem, which was I had to film myself by myself using a camera that didn't have continuous autofocus. Luckily, I have the iPad Pro, the iPhone 13 Pro, and I have the Bluetooth Plus app from Blackmagic Design downloaded on both, which allows me to fully control the camera, even do focus pulling, and I can do the one-touch autofocus from there, start and stop recording. It totally came in clutch in this shoot. I probably went a little bit overkill on the shot list. I wasn't sure what I was gonna need in the edit, so I made sure to film everything. You know, opening up the front door, looking at the package, reacting to the package, picking up the package. Every single motion was filmed because I wanted to make sure I had everything I could possibly need when I got into the edit. This is something that I actually picked up from the last episode of Scenes, where I was actually struggling to transition from one shot to another because I didn't film everything that I probably should have. But all in all, the shoot went really smooth. Like I said, the iPad came in clutch with being able to control the camera, and I knew I had everything that I needed for the edit. The only, I guess, issue I had other than, you know, the controlling thing was the fact that when I got into the shots in this office, it was a little tight. That 35mm focal length, 50mm full frame equivalent, is a little bit tight for this size of a room, but I think I made it work. Putting the timeline together was really just a matter of getting the pacing right and choosing what I was going to keep and what I was going to get rid of. Corridor Crew actually did this whole series called Functional Filmmaking, and in their video on editing, Sam said something that has stuck with me ever since, and that's make the scene make sense in as little time as possible. And so I kept it in my mind the whole time I was editing. I kept asking myself, will the viewer be able to piece this together if I remove this cut? I think it turned out really well, but you're gonna have to watch it and let me know. So, you know, stick around till the end. After the timeline got put together, it was time to jump into the dreaded Fusion and start doing the compositing work and putting these portal shots together. A lot of those portal shots were very straightforward. Not the last one, though. The one where I was actually in the portal, that was a little bit more complicated. First, I realized that I made a huge mistake in filming when I didn't really think about the lighting that I was going to have to deal with. I didn't think about making myself really blend in with the other shot in the portal. And so I didn't think about the lighting. So it was really hard to like blend me in. I did the best I could, but it just, I could have done better. The other issue I ran into was actually the rotoscoping. I don't own a green screen. I really need to invest in one, but I haven't yet. So I ended up doing this shot just here in my office, and I ended up rotoscoping myself out. So I ended up sending everything over to Mocha Pro by Boris FX because they have this magnetic rotoscoping tool that makes it super, super easy to create splines. It was fantastic. After the rotoscoping, it was just a matter of making sure that all of the nodes were assembled correctly, which took a little bit of trial and error because I'm not a Fusion guy, so I'm still learning these things, but I ended up getting it figured out. Fusion's starting to make a little bit more sense to me, which is awesome. After I did all the compositing work, I moved over to the color page. That was really straightforward. I wasn't really going for any particular look when I went into this. I did poke around Shot Deck for some ideas. I didn't really land on anything that I like, so I just honestly kind of tinkered around until I had something that I could live with. And so I had my timeline edited, I had my composites in there, I had my color grade done, and then it was time for sound design. Now, if there's one thing that I have learned over the last few years making videos, it's that audio drives the story, whether there's dialogue or not. And so since there was only one piece of dialogue in this entire video, contributed by my friend Kai, by the way, thank you very much, Kai, you are a lifesaver. But since her line was the only line in the entire video, I really had to focus on sound design. So I looked at every single little action that I could find in the video, and I made a list of every single sound that could possibly go along with that. And I used the natural camera audio for as much as I could, but other than that, I went to Artlist and I just downloaded every single sound effect that I could find and all of the ambience and all of the music. And I really focused on the sound design. And when it was all said and done, I had like 80 to 90 different audio clips and 13 audio tracks on a 1.5 minute long video. So that's a lot. So really, this was a pretty straightforward video. The shoot was straightforward, couple of different challenges, but I feel like I overcame them pretty easily. The editing had some challenges, overcame those, and I think at the end of the day, I came up with something that I think you're really going to enjoy. But before I can show it to you, I have to say that this video would not have been possible without today's sponsor, Puget Systems. See, Puget Systems builds PCs. They build them for video editors, engineers, gamers, you name it. And it's not one of those places where you go to a website, you pick out the parts you want, and then they build it and ship it to you. It's not like that at all. They're different. They actually listen to you. You hop on a call with them and you explain to them your workflow and the types of projects you work on, the types of projects you want to work on in the future, and then they custom build a system that is tailor-made for exactly what you need. So if you need a PC that's going to do what you need it to do when you need it to do it, then click the link in the description below. Check out Puget Systems today. Those guys are super knowledgeable, super cool, and they will definitely get you started on the right track. So thank you so much, Puget Systems, for sponsoring this video. And without further ado, please enjoy the vacation.
Jay, I know you've been working hard, but everyone needs a break every once in a while. Hope this helps. Talk soon. Kai.